Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are doing the intimacy discussions. Now we are talking about Gana Mismatches. Just a sidebar on that. Typically, mark my words, typically Devganas will look for emotion first, physical connection later, dependent. Whereas Rakshasa Ganas will say, I want intensity and the physical connectivity first, emotions can come later. This is typical, okay? There's nine Devganas and nine Rakshasaganas, so do the math. It'll be very, very complicated in terms of individual analysis. If you need consultations, you can get in touch with me, but you need to understand the typical dynamic here. You need to understand that. First comes the knowledge, first comes the understanding. That's what this channel is about. If you don't understand even the basics of this stuff, you will think I'm just yammering on about a whole lot of verbiage without any basis. There is a very strong basis and you don't want to fight this. Let's take the next case in our analysis. Now I have put her moon in Shatbisha and his moon in Mrigshira, which is Devgana. So she is a Rakshasagana, he is a Devgana. Let's see how that discord plays out. We are talking about discords here. This pairing is a detached intelligence confronting searching sensitivity. Guess which one is which? Detached intelligence, Aquarius, all mental. And he on the other side, in this case Mrigshira, is searching for sensitivity. A bond where private emotional needs and public direction, the 4-10 relationship, keep missing each other's timing. This is not an instinctively harmonious dynamic, it's misaligned processing speed relationship where mental, emotional and physical rhythms often operate on different clocks. I see people on social media, even psychologists and psychiatrists, they're so poorly informed. This is why I'm trying to bring in on LinkedIn newsletter. There's so many on my network. Why? Because you're missing a very vital link of innate drives. The study of nakshatras in Vedic astrology is about your innate drives. What's your first impulse? What's that primordial instinct that you have going on in your limbic system? If I had to put it in brain. This is not a comfort-based bond. This is a friction through misalignment. You might not be ready to go to such places. This requires a hell of a lot of consciousness, people. The 4-10 dynamic here in terms of discord plays as emotional detachment, internal independence and unconventional home base, which is her in this case. Whereas he wants emotional performance, caregiving role, public reassurance seeking. Let's see the discordant points now. Mental front. She thinks in systems and abstractions. Shatbisha is as abstract as they get. He thinks in feelings and immediate context in this case. She processes internal and late. He processes external and continuously. So friction pattern may sound like he talks to resolve anxiety. She withdraws to resolve for clarity. She is seeking clarity. They are mental people, air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Conversation becomes a pursuit versus silence, not dialogue. See there? Mentally it is lost. Emotionally, where is it discordant? She regulates emotion through distance. He regulates emotion through connection. One goes distant and one wants connection at the same time. He feels emotionally unseen. She feels emotionally crowded. His vulnerability triggers her withdrawal. Her neutrality triggers his insecurity. See? Anxious, avoidant loop. What about the physical part? Asynchronous nervous reassurance and dependent signatures. Desire fluctuates with emotional safety for him. Her desire drops and emotional pressure. From emotional pressure. He wants emotion. Devgana. She is more distant and more cerebral in nature. What's good and bad? See, this is the very black and white concept that psychology, mainstream psychology provides. Everything is in terms of black and white. There's no such thing in Jyotish and Vedic astrology. No such thing. Doesn't matter which way you spin this. There is only what is. Jyotish examines what is, not what my fantasies and insanities are about something. Physical risk patterns, how does it play out in this relationship? Touch becomes reassurance seeking rather than desire. Intimacy feels mentally disconnected. Physical closeness increases emotional demand. If she in this case tries to get in touch with his emotion, it becomes very demanding for her. If his emotional seeking tends to connect to her, she's abstract, she's etheric. Nakshatra, Shatvisha. She's lost in space, literally. Sexuality risks becoming emotionally loaded but physically unsatisfying. The main discordant primary friction is she detaches to stay clear, he connects to stay safe. She values autonomy, he values emotional feedback. See what I said about emotions and connectivity between Deva and Rakshasa, highly discordant. She stabilizes through distance, he stabilizes through closeness. When one person wants closeness, physical, mental, emotional, and you're withdrawing at that time, how is it going to work? Any amount you're going to shrinks or relationship counselor is not going to solve it. There is a basic dynamic at play which I'm trying to bring here. Sexual emotional risk. Anxiety replaces desire. Caretaking replaces attraction. Withdrawal replacing resolution. If unconscious, which is most of the cases, folks, let's face it, this becomes a detached, dependent imbalance. This is not a comfortable relationship. The danger is of chronic misunderstanding, emotional exhaustion on both sides, physical intimacy losing spontaneity, one partner feeling abandoned, the other feeling suffocated. This pairing only thrives when Shatbisha consciously verbalizes reassurance without losing autonomy. They require a ton of counseling, I would think. All of these kind of Devgana, Rakshasa pairings, they would require counseling, or which people normally choose to walk away and say, this is me, I am being me. Rubbish. You don't know what the me is unless you have studied Jyotish. Mrikshira learns emotional self-regulation without constant feedback. He doesn't need feedback. He's looking for something else. Okay. Let's do another one. Just to close this part up. Shatvisha Aquarius woman to Anuradha Scorpio man. This will be even more stronger. Let's see that. Keep watching. Okay, so now the man's moon is in Anuradha, which is 10th place from her moon. Again, not necessarily the houses shown on the screen. It can be any house. The distance between her moon and his moon is 10 for relationship. 10th position from hers, his is 4th position. Okay. She is still in Shatbisha moon. So that characteristic doesn't change. But now he is in Anuradha Nakshatra. Let's see how that discord plays out. This is a truth loyalty stress test where mental freedom collides with emotional depth. He is extremely emotionally deep in this case, Scorpio. Scorpio man in Anuradha. This is not comfort based. This is a containment versus commitment dynamic. There's talking about 10 for relationship also. Commitment. The 10th place. The Capricorn. We can go on and on, but anyway, let's get back to the discordant parts of this relationship. Mental dynamic, the core discord here becomes she processes through abstraction and distance, Aquarius. He processes through emotional depth and memory. They're very far apart. The mental world and the emotional world in this case is like one galaxy to another. She seeks truth by stepping back. He seeks truth by going deeper. Mental clash pattern. He wants shared emotional processing. Anuradha wants a deeper connection. In this case, him. She wants private mental space. Shatvisha is very quiet, very internally processed. So when the person is quiet, he goes into sort of a suspicion mode, like what's going on with her. Interpretation versus withdrawal, no convergence. Emotional dynamic. This core discord becomes she regulates emotion through detachment. He regulates emotion through bonding. One wants to be detached, one wants to bond. Hey, how are you going to get through this emotional dynamic? Clash patterns may sound like he may feel emotionally excluded. She may feel emotionally obligated. His loyalty triggers her fear of entanglement. Her distance triggers his fear of abandonment. This creates a secure, avoidant polarity, strong polarity in this case, where devotion meets resistance. As much as Anuradha Nakshatra is beautiful and it wants devotion, what is the distance between the moons? Physical intimacy dynamic. Slow, deep, building, emotionally charged but uneven. The risk patterns here become intimacy becoming emotionally heavy. They will avoid intimacy in this case, and it will sure to split apart if it is not really worked through. The thing with Devgana and Rakshasa pairing is they will require immense emotional counseling. Give it a few years, forget the honeymoon period when it's just hormones and banging around. Let us see after a couple of years where you are. Touch turning symbolic rather than spontaneous. Sexuality carrying expectations instead of play. Physical closeness can intensify emotional mismatch if not consciously softened. There's the key word. Consciously softening things. The Gana mismatch is primary friction is she values freedom, he values loyalty. She seeks truth through distance, he seeks safety through closeness. She avoids emotional ownership, he thrives on it. Sexual emotional risk, devotion turning into emotional pressure. She feels emotional pressure coming from him in this case. Independence turning into emotional withdrawal, loyalty feeling unreciprocated. He is loyal in this case. He feels her as not connecting to him in himself, in his core. If unconscious, this becomes a detached, devotional sort of imbalance. Well, this can work in a number of ways, isn't it? It's always a number of ways. This is a transformational relationship. People who get into Devgana Rakshasa Gana combinations definitely have to get transformed. The danger is one of exhaustion. These people approach the counselors, somebody like me or mainstream. I'm exhausted trying to please her. Him in this case trying to please her. Chronic insecurity versus chronic withdrawal. On both sides, this is. One partner feels abandoned, the other feels constrained. This pairing only thrives when Shatbisha learns to verbalize reassurance without surrendering freedom. They need a space, Aquarius. Anuradha learns to hold devotion without claiming. It's not suffocate her. She doesn't like suffocation. It's Shatbisha in Aquarius. She wants independence of all kinds. But that has to be a factor which has to be understood, isn't it? If it is not understood, how is it going to happen? Tell me, after listening to all of this and the future ones, I challenge all of you modern psychologists, how are you going to come to these conclusions? Jyotish only provides this lens for you, other systems don't. I challenge you, tell me how will you go talking endlessly and charging them by the hour? How are you going to come to these conclusions? You don't know what dynamic is playing out until you go to the Nakshatra level. That's my challenge to you. I'll see you in the next. Take care. Be safe.